Aloha, y'all. It is Moon Day, Monday, the 7th of December. It is a root chakra day, red rhythmic skywalker guided by space. Muladhara chakra, root chakra. Do the mantras, do the mudras, the hand positions, the chanting, and Lam over the in musical note of C. Think of all these things, see where that technology takes you. You will be greatly surprised, potentially, if you haven't done these things. Thank me later. So, let's see what we can get on this moon day, the 7th. Hopefully, you all do well. The podcasts last night were interesting. Check them out. Maru Matu, part 2 of the Emerald Tablets analysis, as well as Wayne coming on talking about a nervous, not a nervous breakdown, but a spiritual emergency he had over Thanksgiving. Interesting story. You guys could benefit from it probably. Princess of Swords. The princess in this deck is very much like the page energy. So swords are the mind. If you're a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, you will naturally resonate with these. So, Princess of Swords, the airy, the mental, kind of factual and fun part of air, the mind. Dazzle in the delights of your ambitions. Pay attention to your surroundings. Question your reality. Keep an open mind. As Morpheus would say, free your mind. Keep it open, right? Princess of Swords, I call on you to live your truth. The Princess of Swords brandishes her sword artfully and precisely. Daring, she scales the heights, a true spider woman. Her domain is high up above the city's streets, running and leaping across the rooftops. Boasting both an agile young body and a clear, penetrating mind, she is a fabulous fusion of superheroine and freedom fighter, a princess with an unquenchable thirst for truth. Her nimble mind grasps and connects stimuli at lightning speed, giving her an incredible outlook and ability, a searing intelligence able to penetrate any circumstance, any drama. She can root out inconsistencies and deliver a powerful argument. Emotions don't get in her way, as she almost marvels at the quickness of her own mind to instantly read a given situation, assimilating many facets, contrasting, comparing, synthesizing, and evaluating possible solutions. It is almost a sport for her. Equally an avid raconteur with beautiful speaking voice and wry wit, she draws out dilemmas, philosophies, and wisdom in her storytelling appearing beyond her years. Her home is unashamedly in the sky, perched on the roofs of skyscrapers like some exotic creature out of a scene from Blade Runner. Ridley Scott's great sci-fi epic, which visually inspired a generation, is married with the animation of Ghost in the Shell, a Japanese manga series science fiction comic book. Her mind soars freely in the sky, rising and gliding like a bird in the warm vertical currents of air, giving her a unique and calm perspective. Up high, she can see there are many other vistas to explore. She won't hesitate to sharpen and test her sword on the most challenging of these. Inherently hard-working, principled, and knowledgeable, she will pitch her wits in the fight for equality and justice for all. You could be mistaken for thinking this princess will indeed change something profound about the world. If only it were that simple. Those ideals so beautifully articulated could easily remain in the mental realm and not actually be grounded in reality. The Princess of Swords indicates the brilliance of the mind is at your side, an agile advocate for cutting away any obstacles as you scale the heights to success. You may be being called to review the set of principles and assumptions you are living by. Heard. Those high ideals you are pursuing or once believed in. Life is a great journey filled with setbacks, wrong turns, and dead ends. You are being called to be an intrepid explorer, to question assumptions, values, and ideals. What is the purpose of your life? Why are you here? What do you want? How might you navigate the difficulties, the inequalities, and the dazzling array of opportunities to realize the best of your potential? What do you think is possible from the very best of human existence? The time is ripe for a philosophical re-examination of the meaning of life and a reacquaintance with some of the most remarkable thinkers and philosophers of our time. You are ready to begin walking your talk. So the Princess of Swords, the airy part of air, dazzling in the delights of your ambitions, paying attention to your surroundings, questioning your reality, keeping an open mind. The astrology, which I had failed to mention, is Sagittarius Sun, Moon in Virgo. So it's kind of this grounding practicality emotionally to the ambitions of what is true, what is out there. Mercury in Sagittarius, Venus in Scorpio, Mars in Aries, Jupiter and Saturn almost conjunct, or they are conjunct, but almost exactly conjunct the 21st of December. And Capricorn, Uranus in retrograde in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, Pluto also in Capricorn. The North Node is in Gemini. So our destiny, the North Node Gemini, is to challenge, be very airy and light and fun, but we're having to like really test our assumptions. Venus and Scorpio, we're like, what do we love and why do we love it? I'm gonna go deep into this and feel to the bottom of this. And with Mercury and Sagittarius or Mercury and the Sun in Sagittarius, we have this ability with Moon and Virgo to in a grounded mental way. Virgo is ruled by Mercury in a mental way. Check out truth, try truths, try new truths, let go of what's not serving us. This isn't about arguing and debating, although it can come off that way potentially. It's about finding your truth and going for it in spite of what the critics say, right? She's gonna sling her web and go from building to building, even if that's not a popular thing to do. So we are on that wave right now, feeling it. Hopefully you're feeling it too. Tell me where you're watching from. Always fascinated to see where people are popping in from and such. So let's go ahead and get a clarifier. We have emotion/intellect, right? It's even almost the same color scheme as this. Same blues, whites, reds, oranges. So emotion/intellect. This is the both and. You're both emotional and intellect, right? This is number 11. Of water. The 11 of water. Emotion/intellect. Keywords: emotion/intellect, love, fear, expression, suppression, head, heart, ease, dis-ease. Key phrases: influence of emotional disharmony. Both love and fear motivate. Is fear the more dominant force? Unvoiced emotions must be expressed. Address unhealthy imbalances. Very Virgo moon there. It's like, where are your emotions? How can you balance them? Suppressed emotions create dis-ease. Venus and Scorpio. It's like, don't hold, hiding things in a cave for too long can cause rot. Seek a productive means of emotional release. Mars and Aries. Be proactive and mindful of your emotions. North Node in Gemini. Meaning, the 11 of water is a balancing and realignment card that addresses any emotional disharmony that may be influencing your choices and environment. It also represents the need for us to see the whole and how an imbalance can affect it. Love and fear. How many times have you heard someone say that a choice or action was made from a place of fear, or was born of a person's insecurities and doubts, or was born of love? When we are attacked by others, we may react and retaliate because we are angry and afraid. But we may also act because we have love for ourselves and wish to address an injustice and prevent further injustice. We just read the 10th Gene Key today, Haley and I. Love you, Haley. And it was talking about self-love, but that the shadow of that's narcissism, right? The gift is naturalness. It's like you're naturally yourself, and the city is like being. It's like you are a self no matter what, and you get your journey as a self through your individuality ultimately is a privilege, but not something to overemphasize, basically. We may choose not to take a risk or make changes in our lives because we're afraid of an unknown future. Aren't we all kind of there right now? But we also may choose not to take a risk that may alter our lives because we love the life we already have right now. So we can become too comfortable, right? We may be plagued with doubts, but we can also be blinded by love. What motivates our actions the most, fear or love? The truth is that most of our actions are motivated by both in equal measure. Fear and love, like creation and destruction, cannot exist without one another. They can even appear to be the same force depending on one's perspective. What motivates you to walk away from a friendship or relationship that is causing you hurt and disease? One person might say that you have walked away because you are afraid of being hurt further. Another might say that you walked away because you respect and love yourself and you know you deserve better. Who's right? In most situations, both are right. You are afraid of being hurt again, and you do believe you deserve better. You may also be motivated to stay in the relationship because you are afraid to leave, or because you are so in love that you are willing to forgive the one that hurt you and give them a second chance. The 11 of water signifies a need to see that you are often motivated by both forces at the same time. Love and fear are two halves of the same whole, and each flows into the other. However, an unhealthy imbalance can occur when fear becomes the dominant force and prevents you from breaking free of painful situations or relationships, thereby preventing you from leading a happy and productive life. The 11 of water also addresses the subject of suppression and expression. Suppressed emotion can lead to illness. Emotional stress can manifest in the form of depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, inflammation in the body, and in turn disease. There can be real and life-threatening consequences to suppressing fear, anger, sorrow, and other weightier emotions. The 11 of water does not suggest that life is meant to be lived on an even keel. Life will always offer up moments that will have us shouting for joy, or conversely suffering in silence. But if you express instead of suppress, you will move through life with more ease as opposed to living a life of dis-ease and suffering. It is better to be proactive and mindful when it comes to your emotions. Never ignore them, right? Being mindful, Princess of Swords, in a fun way. Like there's fun ways to express yourself. And ultimately, there's ways to lessen your emotional roller coaster, meditation, breathing techniques, and coming to new levels of insights, meditation, psychedelics, conversation, right? But ultimately, you're a self trying to apprehend the world, which is a reflection of your state, and you might be coming from a place of love or fear more. It's always both, so don't beat yourself up if you're like, I fear that. It's like, just be aware of it. Or, oh man, I'm obsessed with the thing because I love it so much. It's like, maybe don't, like, try to suck the life out of that so much. Like, obsess over things, right? Venus and Scorpio. So, and we might be doing that with truth, where it's like Mercury and the Sun in Sagittarius, where it's like, I have a truth and you need to see it, and if you don't see it, you're not on my team, and fuck you, and all that kind of energy, right? So, ironic that we're saying this. Beyond Wisdom, number 1 card is the Galactic Heritage card today, pops. So what does it mean to be beyond wisdom? This is the first card of the whole deck. Beyond wisdom. Beyond dreams. Makes me think of Daft Punk's Beyond. 1. Founders, Beyond Wisdom, Parallel Timeline. The founders represent the abiding awareness, the one consciousness that spans time and space. This consciousness is aware of its simultaneous existence as both the whole and its, quote, separate parts. So fear and love are still within the whole. And then it's like fear and love can lead to very different things, but it's all one dream, right? Haley, I was going to say, right, Haley? We were reading today, it's like about the Bodhisattva wants evolution and progress. And the Arhat is like, there is nothing to do, just witness and be here now, right? And it's kind of both. And this is kind of the abiding awareness that witnesses. It created an illusion of fragmentation so that we could have an individual lifetime, right? This very individualized mind, body, emotion/intellect trip called the self as a fragment, like, a human experience. It created the illusion of fragmentation so that we could have an individual lifetime, but its wholeness still abides, and it's ultimately the consciousness that sees through the eyes of every living soul. This is your true self. Some call it God. Because this card points to your true nature. Oh, someone's trying to call me, but I'm busy. Because this card points to your true nature, it is the most powerful card of this deck. It cuts through illusion and moves beyond wisdom. It is you. Remember. Because humans appear to exist in linear, separate reality, we cannot have a card that truly embodies the energy of complete wholeness and have the human mind be able to perceive this truth. If it were to be represented in this deck, it would have to be card 0. This card, number 1, holds the energy of our initial fragmentation from source. This first fragmentation, looking at it from a linear perspective, created many subgroups of wise beings manifesting as group consciousness systems. And there's different types of wisdom. The wisdom of the fly is not the same as the spider, which is not the same as the dolphin, which is not the same as the shark. Humankind is not the same as angelic, whatever, the different types of wisdom, right? This first fragmentation, looking at it from a linear perspective, created many subgroups of wise beings manifesting as group consciousness systems who act as the architects of our journey through polarity and back into wholeness. We're the characters on the stage playing the movie. There's a movie because people are different characters. That's the whole point. They maintain the memory of being whole and separate at the same time and guide us through this journey. They are a manifestation of the great hologram of creation that contains all things and potentials. This is why the theme is beyond wisdom. What they offer us has little to do with intellectual knowledge or even what is called, quote, wisdom. They represent us in our integrated state and help us maintain the memory of our true state of existence as one being throughout all creation, manifesting as both separate and unified simultaneously. The consciousness Germain, who channeled this card system to Lisa, this deck, represents this group consciousness. If this card appears in your spread, it is a reminder of your true nature and a suggestion to never get distracted by the chaos or intensity of physical existence. The emotions and the mind can play tricks. It's like this is the one abiding kind of truth at the bottom of it all. Consciousness, awareness. Let yourself feel the connection with Source in a way that goes beyond intellect, goes beyond the Princess of Sword. We even have the word intellect in this card, emotion/intellect. The mind can commit to the hero's journey in very particular ways, but every hero's journey is just a fruit on the tree of consciousness. Let yourself feel the connection with the source in a way that goes beyond intellect. As this connection grows stronger within you, it can serve as a guiding force in your life. Trust that connection. And right now, there's so many news outlets, conservative, liberal news outlets, people who are pro this, people who are, it's like there's a lot of ideas to play with, and you can. And they might even cause you emotional and intellectual progress or hampering fear and love, right? But ultimately, consciousness is beyond fear and love. It's all love, if you want to put it that way. And then fear is just kind of a forgetfulness and a self-absorption. The one is in the all is in the one. And this is about root chakra. Get rooted in that fact today, that you're a manifestation of the divine, experiencing life in a polarized individual form. What a privilege. But don't attach so much to it that you think that's all there is. That's the hang up. That's where people start being like, well, my team's cool and your team sucks. It's like, well, that's a weird trip. Intuition on a moon day, right? Moon is very intuitive energy. So intuition, the cat, number 37. I miss having cats. I've got to get one again as soon as possible. I don't think that's going to happen at this house. Use and develop your intuition. Your gut feeling is correct. You are not your mind. Ironic, right? Emotion and intellect. You're not either your emotions or your mind. You are not even your journey as much as you identify with it. You're beyond that, beyond wisdom, right? You're not your mind. Develop your magical skills further. Introduce more play into your life. Princess of Swords, the Page of Swords, is very playful, right? And once we get the idea that we're more than ourselves, we can play with the playground of life a little more differently. Arhat versus Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva is like, I'm on a mission. I'm here to save people. I'm going to red pill everybody. I'm going to go in the Matrix and find the others and get them out. And then the Arhat's like, well, the dream wants to have machines and humans playing this weird game. Cool. I'm watching. Right? Mythos. The Egyptian goddess Bast is the embodiment of cat energy. A very ancient deity, she was originally a lion goddess, somewhat like Sekhmet, but her land and nature diminished in favor of the cat energy. A very ancient goddess, Bast is featured in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Statues of Bast usually depict either a woman with a cat's head or a regal, beautifully formed cat with royal symbology and sometimes a lion mask signifying a hidden, fierce nature. Bast offered protection to her worshippers in everyday life rather than in battle, as this was Sekhmet's role, and she was the goddess who helped bring messages and guidance through intuition. Bast also demonstrated a loving, playful energy. The historian Herodotus traveled to Egypt in the 5th century BC and told of his experiences at the festival of Bast at the riverside town of Bubastis. He spoke of people traveling down the river by small boat and playing and jesting with the people on the shore as they passed, very Page or Princess of Swords. Once they reach the temple, they make festival with great sacrifices, and more wine is drunk at this feast than in a whole year. Sounds like a lot of fun. It's kind of like a Burning Man type situation for Egypt, it seems. In ancient Egypt, domestic cats were very much a part of the city and family life. In a time when plague and disease could not easily be halted and could easily spread, the services of a fine feline hunter were appreciated. Cats became symbols of protection and royalty, and were even mummified as companions and protectors of the dead in the afterlife. In Norse mythos, cats famously pulled the goddess Freya's chariot, surely an activity not for beginners. Cats have always been associated with the witchcraft of many traditions, especially in Europe. It was said that a black cat could give you either good or bad luck depending upon your culture, and that cats are able to see spirits and travel between the worlds of the dead and living at will. It is this association that made cats a target for burning and killing in the Middle Ages and encouraged the plague that was spread by fleas carried on rats. So, they killed off cats, the bubonic plague happened. Cause and effect. The animal. Next to dogs, cats are the most popular domesticated companion animal. I say domesticated lightly because scientists believe they haven't quite completed the domestication cycle as yet, since they tend to survive well on their own in colonies and still retain a very independent nature. Humans have been a part of cat life for in excess of 10,000 years, according to the latest archaeological information. They were invited in not just because of their appearance, but because of their abilities as mousers. The Egyptians loved their house cats so much that if they died, they would be an official period of mourning that included eyebrow shaving, and their cat would be mummified and taken to Bubastis. Cats come in all shapes and sizes, and humans have spent a lot of time honing and creating specific breeds. However, from Siamese to Maine Coon, they are all feline and are all scientifically known as Felis catus. Cats are small but athletic and are able to jump great distances. They are hypercarnivores and use a variety of vocal sounds and purring to the delight of humans and other cats. Scientists are still debating about the evolution of the purr, but I think most cat owners would understand that it encourages us to give them more of the treatment that makes them purr in the first place. In the main, it is a sign of contentment and happiness. The magic. Cat magic can be used in a variety of ways, including to increase happiness, curiosity, a sense of play, and lightness, and somewhat paradoxically, when we may be wanting to connect with someone who has passed. So we have this kind of moon day energy, kind of mysteries, intuitions. Venus and Scorpio connecting with loved ones who have died, because we love them and we want this magic to occur or whatever. But also with this Princess of Swords, where it's like playfulness, curious, happy. Cats are considered guides to the underworld and can help with mediumship. If you have a cat yourself, it is said that you have the blessing of any goddess who loves cats, and so this can only enhance your life. Symbology: almond-shaped eyes, woman with a cat's head, chariot pulled by cats, vertical people, black cat. Status is of least concern. Right now there's a dog in this house, which I haven't lived with dogs very much, and it's a fun joy in its own way, but I am probably more of a cat person than a dog person. Ultimately, I love them both. Depends on the temperament of the animal, right? Specifics. I don't want to generalize here. There's a lot of shitty cats that just run away and skitty kitties, as I call them. And then like the ones I've ever had are almost like dogs, where you're like petting them. They're like, loving on you and stuff. And then there's dogs. This dog is the best, Joey, and he's playful and fun and obedient and curious. And then there's dogs that just bark all the time and just pee and try to fuck everything. It's like, those aren't fun. Depends on the specific, not the general, right? But I'm more of a cat person, generally speaking. Tracy Emin is the artist we're getting. Got her the other day, so interesting that she's coming back up again. Maybe I should shuffle better. Like a good friend rolled in garbage, the work of Tracy Emin, British rep of the 2007 Venice Biennale, is both intimate and a potential biohazard. In Everyone I've Ever Slept With, 1963 to 95, the viewer is welcomed into a small camping tent in which the Emin delivers on the title with those bedmates' names appliqued to the interior walls. Her acclaimed and contested My Bed consists of Emin's mattress after a depressive episode, topped with stain sheets, stain panties, contraceptives, empty bottles, cigarette butts, and an emotional compost that fertilized the whole mess. Venus and Scorpio as fuck. Emin's personal and confessional works are not only self-portraits but reflections of societal taboos. So the advice we're getting from her is, don't hide your dirty sheets in the washer, right? Ultimately, we're one thing. So, being honest and truthful, like, we're only lying to ourselves when we lie to others, right? So this journey of curiosity, this journey of becoming more and more a mind and a body and an emotional body and an aura, right, as this individual, it's really the one consciousness playing through us, right? And we have to use our intuition to individually know what, as long as this is where it gets, discernment's tricky. Hit me up for a reading, I can help you. What's your ego telling you? Like old George would be like, don't do that, versus what your intuition, your gut saying, do this. But don't hide your dirty sheets in the washer. Don't hide, you're an individual who can boldly proclaim your own truth and playfully, hopefully, do it. That will lead to more emotional and intellectual development. Ultimately, the development's an illusion because it's just the one thing experiencing yourself through multiplicity, which is an illusion in itself. Weird, I know. We can intuit these things, but ultimately we're here to be selves, sharpening our minds, sharpening our hearts, opening our hearts, really, sharpening our minds, balancing our emotions and intellect. The one and the all in one, just knowing that we're connected at a level like that is a different trip than not. And you can intuit that, and don't deny your intuition. It's another sense. We tend to use our brains and only try to use logic and reason, capital R. And the Venus in Scorpio wants us to be okay with our intuition. Our truth, Sun and Mercury in Sagittarius, can come through a way that's hopefully grounded, Moon in Virgo, but we have to be coming at it individually, even though the individual is an illusion of the whole, right? So don't hide your dirty sheets in the washer. Don't hide it under a bushel, as they say in the Bible. Like, I'm going to let it shine. Be yourself. You be your whole self. Your shadow is real just as much as your, the good parts about you. You're a total self. Your mind and heart, your good and bad, right? Your light and dark, all these things. We've got kunzite. You can quantumly entangle with this stone. Hopefully, you don't have to actually open, I just read the word open, that's why I said that. You don't have to actually own this, but you can quantumly entangle with kunzite. What it is, a high vibe, lithium-infused lilac pink stone that glows with an energy that could be described in a word as cuddly. Who needs it? Anyone with a heavy heart about something, collectors of good vibrations. Where to put it? Place on your heart and breathe deeply of kunzite's cotton candy essence, or hold in your left hand and whisper sweet nothings to yourself. When to use it? Call on kunzite after a breakup or a major disappointment, or when you're beating yourself up about something. You don't need permission to be here, right? Beyond wisdom, right? You're here because you're here, and you be here now. Like, you don't need to win the approval or the debate of why you should be here. You don't need a permission to be here. You belong. If you forget that, pause, tap into kunzite's pink prismatic vibration, and let love rule. Open up your love channel. Be curious and pursue the dream more deeply as a bodhisattva, as one of love. Bring, love or fear. We got a choice. This says open up your love channel. Go more towards love, right? Love is all there is, ultimately, in distortions of the one, which is fine. Polarity games and all this stuff, Jedi and Sith and all this shit. It's a trip. It's not real. It's all one thing experiencing itself. You can intuit that if you tap in deeply enough. So don't hide who you are. Tracy Emin. It's like, don't hide your dirty sheets in the washer. Open up your love channel. Be who you are fully. Good, bad, and ugly. That's your gift to us, and our gift to you as individuals is to be ourselves, and that's the dance of the dance. You kind of get what I'm getting at. So let's go ahead and play some music. I'm going to play my electric today. So we've got the Page of Swords, which is really the princess in this deck. Princess of Swords with emotion/intellect as the clarifier. So, Princess of Swords. I gotta end this. So, with the Page of Swords energy, which is the princess in this deck, we have the ability. Let me just tell her 1 sec. Because I love her and I want her not to forget. 1 sec. Alright, so playing with ideas that are emotional, playing with ideas that are intellectual, playing with beliefs, playing with fear, playing with love, playing though, understanding that we're in a game, ultimately, of the one consciousness expressing itself through individuals. You can intuit that ultimately and play into that, but you also have intuitive kind of personal qualities, right? An archer is not a wizard, is not a axe man in an RPG, right? They're all different, but they're all in the one game, right? The Lord of the Rings game, or whatever you want to call it. Be smart, be wise, be playful. Don't hide out of pride and ego and fear and shame your dirty sheets in the washer. That kind of stuff actually allows you to grow, emotionally grow and intellectually grow, but also others to grow through you. So don't hide it under a bushel, as they say. Don't be ashamed. You are what you is. We all are here in this present thing called life, doing it. Open up your love channel, and play is ultimate love, in a sense. Like, that's why we're in the dream, playing as love made manifest. So hit me up for a reading if you want. Love giving them. People love getting them. Check out the podcast. They've been fantastic. All sorts of topics from, spiritual emergencies to Emerald Tablets of Thoth to, world travelers, all sorts of stuff. Check it out and ultimately enjoy your moon day knowing that you have the power to play the game better or worse, and that's up to you. So only you can choose how you want to play based off of your chart. There might be kind of ways you should be playing. Hit me up for a reading. I can help you out with that. Have a good moon day. Da, 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 da.